I see a kitty cat.
Give me an hour. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Great start to the video, you guys. We are live.
Oh, okay.
You're okay. You're okay. Hi, YouTube. Sarah here, of course, the Bookish Knitter. Welcome to our live show for March Mystery Madness. Like I was telling them, it's going to be very casual. We're just going to do a little bit of chatting. So if anyone has any questions while we're doing this for any of us, please post them in the comments. We will look at that and, you know, answer anything. So how about to start off with, what are we all currently reading? Anything good for March Mystery Madness? Becky and Scott?
Yeah. I just finished 2 days ago. I just finished Devil in a Blue Dress, which is one of the best mysteries I've read in a long time. Actually, I would call it a mystery, but I don't think the mystery is the main thing of the book. The main thing is getting to know Easy Rollins.
Okay.
Who is the protagonist of the book, but he is a broken protagonist. I mean, he's got PTSD from the war. It's a good book, but it is quite violent, but a lot of fun at the same time. I really enjoyed that book, Devil in a Blue Dress. Yeah, that's one I just finished. What I'm reading now is The Drive by Jane Harper.
Oh, I want to read that one.
Oh yeah, I definitely recommend it. I'm about close to a third of the way through it so far, and it's got some kind of upsetting stuff in it, but it's done in a way that that is really a little easier to swallow. Really well done. It's about a man who, well, at the beginning, from what we hear, he kills his entire family, and but there's a serious drought going on, and so it's making people kind of go nuts in Australia. This is an Australian book, and there's a serious drought going on, and people are having serious issues with their mental health and everything, and so people kind of get where he's coming from, but now we have a cop that thinks maybe he didn't do it. So he's investigating it to see if somebody else might have done it. Excellent book so far, though. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. To it. Eventually.
Yeah. This is probably, I think it's got the makings of a long series. I think so far she's got 3, maybe 4 in the series.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
Good.
I'm going to read that one as soon as I get through my TBR. It'll work for the prompts too if I ever get through my TBR.
Yeah, the dry is talking about the drought that's going on in
oh yeah,
it's weather.
Yeah, it is.
It is. You're right.
I like it.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm actually, my book is over there. I'm reading say the word for me.
Borrower of the Night.
That's the one. Borrower of the Night by Elizabeth Peters. It's really interesting that the author is an Egyptologist, and she's writing about. Oh, we lost Sarah.
No, I'm still here. I'm just trying to help out Steve.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So she's writing about an Egyptologist who is very strange. It's a very strange book, but we just finished Death by Dumpling, which was really good. I'm
like a little over 50% of the way through it, and I'm really liking it.
Oh yeah. We enjoyed it a lot. I think it's a debut novel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually finished. I actually finished it in a reading sprint last night with Matt and Rochelle over at Cozy Mystery Reads, and what was the
Lily?
What was her? Lily.
Lily.
It was
Yeah, I don't know how I can forget that. I have a niece named Lily.
something to do with crazy. Oh,
Yeah.
Crazy's in her.
One crazy.
What? One crazy cozy? Crazy?
Yeah, something like that. I cannot remember.
I suck.
It's Lily.
It's Lily.
It's Lily. Yeah.
It's Lily.
but yeah, I enjoyed that book. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would actually.
Yeah, it was a very well written cozy. The main
It's not perfect, but
Well,
but it's good.
the main character is she's very approachable. She's very sympathetic because I totally get her. She's awkward in like every situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read a further one in that series for NetGalley. And so some of the characters I'm like, oh, wait, I know what happens to you later.
Yeah. There's one character that surprised me. I won't spoil it. But one character that surprised me that, that's as far as I can go. But
Yeah.
I gotta be careful, especially if
There he is.
hey Steve.
Yay!
Hey, Steve.
Yay.
Welcome. Yeah.
I gotta be careful, especially if
There he is.
hey Steve.
Yay!
Oh Lord, everything came.
Got his YouTube on.
Huh.
Got his YouTube on.
That was awesome.
How do you?
I don't have anything on.
Is your YouTube open?
Does that help at all?
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
There you go. Awesome. There you
I
go.
slipped off my pants. It turned out my pants were the problem as soon as I took them off. I wish I could say that's the first time that pants have caused feedback loops for me, but it happens all the time.
Oh, that's hilarious.
In the world, pants.
Well, what were we talking about before I made a stereotypical 90-year-old's mistake? What's that again? Huh?
Steve, I was
Mabel,
just saying.
get them back on the line. Mabel! Now that I've done that.
Yeah, Steve, I was just saying. I just finished "Devil in a Blue Dress," the first Walter Mosley, Easy Rollins book. I enjoyed that. That was a really fun book. I mean, and like I said, it is far from cozy, but
Well, that's not.
no. But
That really
but
comes out in the latest one. The latest one is all about civil rights and the Vietnam War. It's
okay. Yeah. I watched an interview with Walter Mosley the other night. He seems like he's really approachable. But I don't know much about him. And then I'm reading this one right now, The Dry by Jane Harper. And that is really, really good so far. Do you know, Steve, if that's a debut, The Dry?
Isn't it? I thought it was.
I think
I don't know
so.
if it's her first book, but it was certainly her international debut.
Okay.
It's the thing that made her first impression everywhere outside of Australia, and it was a favorable first impression for everybody. I don't know anybody that didn't like that book.
Yeah, I'm about a third of the way through. I'll hopefully have it done tonight or tomorrow, and I'm really loving it. It's good.
Yeah, we're just going through what we're reading now. I'm reading Elizabeth Peters, the
Borrower of the Night.
Borrower of the Night.
The Barber of the Night.
Well accepted. I like it.
Yeah.
Completely changes the entire idea of the story, and somehow I think I like that better.
I love those books. I just love that whole series. I love how Elizabeth Peters knows her audience. She knows one aspect of her audience, the part of her audience that came over to her books from old style 1970s bodice rippers. She knows she has that part of an audience. So she has Amelia Peabody's husband is an incredibly sexy leading man with a pulled open shirt and wavy Byronic hair. And then as the series goes on and it becomes more and more likely that he's probably a little too old for that, the boy, Ramses, is now old enough to be that way. She doesn't let much, she doesn't let any time go. There's always a sex object you could undress in your mind.
I got one of the books from the Amelia Peabody series today. The Borrower of the Night is from the Vicky Bliss.
The Barber of the Night. I've heard that's very good.
It is, but in this book, the sex goddess is the main character. And there's a great line where she says she's a broad who is broad where she should be broad. I love it. She's a no nonsense Egyptologist who has like a huge chest and perfect hips and this tiny waist, and she hates it.
Mm.
My Deb used to be a broad who was broad everywhere she should be broad, and then she hit age 100 and everything migrated to the equator. Sooner or later, she'll be on one of these live streams and she'll be able to give as good as she gets.
Yeah.
You're going to punch you in the arm.
Yeah, exactly.
Tuck him out the window.
Oh.
What about you, Sarah? What have you been reading?
Romance. I'm reading The Last Resort by Janice K. Johnson. It's really good so far. So she inherits, as they do in these books, inherits her great uncle's cabin up way somewhere in the middle of nowhere. She shows up, and there's this right-wing militia group that has taken it over because it's been abandoned for like months. And there's one FBI agent who's infiltrated the group, and they've kidnapped her. So he's going to try and help her without his cover being blown.
My goodness.
So that's what I'm reading right now. It's really good. I've been reading her she's written so much. She's written the special edition line and stuff. I really like her writing. So this one's really good.
Up a Harlequin romance in the middle of a March Mystery Madness event.
Excuse me, it's an intrigue. It's romantic suspense.
You got it bad. I don't know why you're not on their payroll. I really don't.
Like we said during the live chat, Steve, there's no job of super fan. That's not a job title, unfortunately.
Yeah, we'd all have good jobs if it were.
Yep.
I actually had a friend once who did inherit a little fishing cabin from an uncle. Said, I'm too old and frail to go there anymore. I haven't been there in years, so I'm giving it to you. He actually did inherit it. We went to see it ourselves together.
Wow.
Thinking, it's probably a little bit winterized. It's not that bad. We'll probably be able to make a night of it. And we got there, and there were bread loaf-sized piles of bear scat everywhere. So we didn't want to stay. It was already a popular spot, and not for the kind of people that we would want to associate with. So we just left.
Wow.
No thanks.
Yeah. If you've never come across fresh bear scat, it's not pleasant at all.
I don't think I have.
Well, no, I think we have actually
we?
a couple times. Yeah, out in our yard.
I think you're right.
We kind of live in the middle of nowhere, so
we live in the black hole of North Georgia. Is where we live. And
North Georgia will have a little light coming to it soon.
Yes.
North Georgia is now one of my favorite places on earth.
But yeah, we've probably come across some bear scat, coyote, raccoon, possum, maybe some cat,
lots of deer.
Deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our back is the raccoons love it.
It's a triplicate of doom if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you come across fresh bear scat. I mean something that's still hot. Then you come across fresh bear sign, claws 10 feet up on the wood. And then you come across a fresh kill. That's when you know you're about to die. Is when you hit all three of those. That's when
you're describing my bathroom.
Yes.
That's a prime example.
I had that happen to me once in Western Canada. I turned around and there was Matt. He reared up on his hind legs, and instead of eating me, he said, "Have you read any Lovecraft?" I was in the middle of the Canadian Rockies, and I was thinking, "Can't I get away from this guy and his Lovecraft even here?"
Have you
But I had
seen
already
the
come
yellow
across
sign?
the Matt Scat. I'd come across the Matt Scat. I'd come across the Matt sign. I'd come across a fresh Matt Kill, an old yellow Daw paperback. I knew he was in the area.
My
With all
only
the
question
signs
is,
were
was he
there.
wearing a loincloth at the time?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the leather loincloth.
I knew it.
The one piece of BookTube merch that never took off.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know what explains it.
And then I lifted up the loincloth and Mark ran out and ran into the woods.
This is
Talk
descended
about
into chaos. I
multi-tentacled
don't know what
horrors.
happened.
Welcome to the live, everybody who's just showing up.
Yeah.
Welcome.
This is
It
pretty
was
much
nice to
going to
see
be
you all.
it, so enjoy.
Why are you hurrying
March
away so
Mystery
fast?
Madness 2021.
We put the madness in March Mystery Madness.
Yes. Elizabeth is updating her socials right now to say, "I don't really know these people."
I don't enjoy it at all yet.
I just got a bunch of notifications that kept saying block Lizzie Faye loves books. Block Lizzie Faye loves books. I'm like, what's all this?
I have to assume that if she invited riffraff like us to her event, she had to know something like this would happen. She had to know that,
Yeah.
that Matt's leather loincloth would turn up eventually.
Yeah, it did in our last live too.
And I never
But I have-
do it. That's the thing that's weird. I never do it.
I have a mystery-related question for all of you.
Hmm.
Okay.
I've been reading through these things. Somebody sent me all of these Elizabethan-era murder mysteries.
Yeah, I saw that on your channel. Yeah.
I've just been popping through them, and they're really delightful. But I have a question: do you tend to prefer historical mysteries, or would you rather have your murder mystery set in the time of fingerprints and forensic evidence and stuff like that? Because the characters in these books have no equipment to solve murder mysteries, except just asking people questions. That's all they can do. They aren't even medical professionals. I've read a few murder mystery series, like Brother Cadfile has some medical experience.
Mhm.
You know, he knows herbs and stuff like that. But these two don't have anything. And most books like that I read the character doesn't have anything to do except ask questions.
Yeah, whole lot of
Does that
interviews.
frustrate you, or would you rather have that be the case?
Well, I
No,
think
cell
that's what
phones
makes
ruin
it-
everything.
It makes it more fun.
Huge. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, if all they have to do is Google the answer,
Okay. All right.
right? Like, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Then what about in addition to the technology of the time period, what about expertise just in general? Do you prefer that your protagonists have no expertise, be just a classic amateur sleuth? Like, for instance, Amelia Peabody in the books is solving murder mysteries at exactly the same time that Sherlock Holmes is solving them over in London. And he does have expertise. Would you rather have the main character have none? And just be sort of a stand-in for you in the book? Which Sherlock Holmes obviously is not. But, I mean, Amelia Peabody, you could see where she is. You could see where she has her expertise, but she doesn't know anything more about identifying a killer than you do.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle there. I really like private investigators who are maybe not all that.
They're not exactly beginners, but they're not.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
they're not
not
beginners,
professionals.
but they've never been police detectives, never been a doctor, maybe something like that. Somewhere in the middle is kind of where I fall. I do love a good police procedure.
Like Nero Wolfe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nero Wolfe is awesome. He's hilarious. But I really
you have
but
you have the what's his name? Is it Archer?
Archie Goodwin.
Archie Goodwin, yeah.
Is his legs and arms. But
the
Nero
guy
Wolfe
who
doesn't
knows
really work.
nothing.
But Nero Wolfe doesn't really work either because he's all knowing. He's unrealistically all knowing.
Yeah,
the kind of thing I'm thinking of would be if what's his name? The main cop that Nero Wolfe always deals with. The angry main cop. The cop who doesn't particularly like him all that much. I'm trying to remember his name.
Mark Richardson.
I don't think Mark Richardson would work very well in a murder mystery because you get to the second to last chapter and the main character has to explain the crime. How are you going to get that many sentences out of Mark Richardson? He's from Vermont. Inspector Richardson, can you explain this crime? He's dead. That's it. That's all of it. That's all you're going to get.
So as far as I'm concerned, I prefer my my horror. Wrong room. I prefer my murder mysteries right on the amateur side. I love my cozy mysteries, but I think it's because all their method of research is all about relationships. Sure. They're all about talking to the people they know, the people that are around them, because it's always somebody that they know who's been murdered.
Yeah.
Cozy mysteries, it's almost exclusively amateurs, right?
It is.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Becky. I really like that aspect that they're amateur, but my issue with the cozies is you hit a point where it just becomes unbelievable. Like, how has Hannah Swenson found 28 dead bodies in a town of no more than 100 people?
They actually explained that in the Bibliophile series. They give it a great paranormal twist of her mother. Her mother's name is Becky, so she holds a special place in my heart. But she's an ex-flower child. They grew up in a commune. And they like to argue that the main character Brooklyn stumbles on these dead bodies because she's supposed to help find these people.
Okay.
And that makes me happy. I'm easily entertained. I can't help it.
Yeah. No, but that's why I like a good police procedural.
And then there's a population boom because of the low rents because of the high rent. Yeah. So that's why so many people end up there.
I'll accept that.
Can I ask another nosy Steve question? As long as I've got you all here.
That's why you're here.
Have any of you actually seen a dead body?
Yes.
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 Not murdered, but a dead body.
Do police pictures count?
With your own eyes.
Yep.
Close enough to touch.
I have.
Yep.
I actually found my father dead. So, yeah.
Okay, I have a follow-up question that I'm hoping is not connected to Scott's answer, which is, have any of you found a murdered dead body?
No.
Well, he would say no now, wouldn't he?
No, not at all.
Yes, no, right. He'll say no 15 times. No. Like that one.
No, it was perfectly natural. He was just standing there, then 1 second he was dead.
I come from the mortuary business from my family.
Oh, okay.
So,
really? So you've seen it all, right?
I've seen a lot of it. Yeah.
Wow.
I had a friend in the mortuary business, ran a funeral home, knew the back rooms and the downstairs rooms. He always used to say it was in Iowa. And he always used to say the very worst thing are snowmobile accidents, because sometimes the work, it's all reconstruction work that they have to do. It's all for the viewing population, and sometimes he said those are impossible to reconstruct, just impossible. Yeah. What's been done to them? If somebody snowmobiles through a tree, there's only so much that you can do with the result.
Yeah, I think wood chipper is a little worse, but
I don't think there's any.
Both are equally bad. Yeah.
The horse comes off the wood chipper.
Yeah, little Fargo on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just glad Scott's anecdote didn't end up involving a wood chipper.
Yeah. Give me a couple more years living there. Yeah, it was a rough 18 years. It really was.
Oh, that's
Maybe
hilarious.
it has to do. Maybe he's keeping one in the back lot for Becky.
No,
Just in
if you had
case.
seen
I
our
think these
back
things
lot,
get
you know
really
this is
bad.
not
Every once in a
happening.
while, he goes out there and oils it, and when he's oiling it, you can overhear him singing from the sound of music. How do you solve a problem like Becky? He has a way in mind. Oh, honey.
Wow, it just got really weird in here.
Just
I know, just
Yeah,
a little late for that.
Becky was typing in all caps in the chat last night. Like, so
He drives me
I
insane.
don't
That's
know.
why.
that's what they're meant to do. That's the point of a husband.
It's his
Marriage
fault.
is another word for adopting a fully grown male.
It's not Scott's fault that Becky keeps finding dead bodies.
No,
Maybe not.
stumbling over them.
Stumbling over them, yeah.
Yeah.
In my case, literally, I'm not all that graceful.
I tried a wood chipper on Deb, but she reassembled, just like in Terminator 2. Just a-
Good Lord.
Yep, I tried a wood chipper. I thought it was peace and quiet. Then she reassembled, and the first thing out of her mouth is, "Are you going to finish those chocolate chip cookies?" Which is what she had been saying before the wood chipper.
So wait, you chucked her in the wood chipper before you shared the chocolate cookies? What are you thinking?
Instead of, I threw in instead of sharing them.
He had unfinished business.
But I'm encountering that same problem with this series, where these two keep stumbling into crimes. I really think that mystery authors, I mean, I know they're on the hook, because if your audience likes something, they're going to buy it. And, you know, all genre authors are in it for the right reasons. They're writing for honest reasons. They're trying to please an audience. None of this highfalutin literary fiction stuff where I'm subverting your expectations. The more you hate my book, the more successful I have been. None of that at all. They're working to please their audience. So I understand they're on a hook. But I really think that the authors of these kinds of series ought to just call a halt to it after 2 or 3 books and just give us another character. If we're reading your books, if you're a must-buy author, then we trust you. So make up something else instead of having a ridiculous scenario where your character is stumbling across 100 dead bodies.
Well,
I think Conan Doyle made that same argument, didn't he?
Well, yes. He did. But the authors I'm talking about didn't exactly invent Sherlock Holmes. If you invent Sherlock Holmes, you should write Sherlock Holmes until you are cold in the grave. Instead of trying to convert our expectations by killing him at the Reichenbach Falls. Ridiculous.
So,
Spoiler. Sorry, everyone.
Same thing with your precious Robert E. Howard. Your precious Robert E. Howard the same way. He would be, what, 120 now? I would still have him chained to his desk writing Conan stories. I don't care if he's suicidal. If you come up with Conan or Sherlock Holmes, you keep writing that until you die.
Oh, tell me about it.
So I'm looking at the chat, and Rowan, Cozy Reads Mystery, made a really pertinent point. She said cozy mysteries are just comforting reads, and you get attached to the characters in town. And honestly, I think after the first 3 books, I think that's why you keep going back.
It's true.
Because you love the character and you love the people that they're surrounded by.
Absolutely.
I didn't even realize I could see the chat.
Yeah, it should be over on the inside there, Steve.
Yeah, well,
We have Scott's phone open.
I have so many more people I could be making fun of. The whole audience I could be mocking. Oh.
We have a second phone open too, so we're able to see it.
Yeah,
I got it.
Mark Richardson is in there, Steve.
Oh goodness, Mark is.
Yeah, he is here.
In my cloth?
Yeah.
I'm just worried. I'm worried that I have one insane troll I've blocked him from my channel, but he tends to show up wherever I am.
Yeah, I think we actually saw that in a chat or on a comment.
Yeah, he showed up in a chat on the Richardson channel because he finds me, challenged me to prove that I can read French or whatever. I have no idea.
Good Lord.
Weird things that some people obsess about. But
So
maybe
who did you write a bad review about lately?
No. he has obsessed about the fact that on my channel I have said that I read languages other than English. He's absolutely obsessed about it, and it's so weird. It's so weird. On my channel, I've said that I had a long, detailed, and very friendly snail mail correspondence with Lauren Bacall. On my channel, I say that I don't wear any pants. On my channel, I say that I'm 9,000 years old. On my channel, I say that I can talk to dogs. He doesn't question any of those things. It's just you say you can read French. Prove it.
Well, it's like telling somebody that you read Shakespeare and they're like, okay, list every play Shakespeare ever wrote. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, look at the baby.
I know.
Steve, yesterday I was looking at your old videos. I was going through your first month on BookTube, and
why?
It's a long story. I'll tell you about it later. But but on this one video, you said, "Hey everyone, I'm really sorry for uploading twice today," and I just started laughing.
I've got 7 videos uploading right now.
Oh my Lord!
I hadn't done my Q&A yet. So, oh, look at that baby.
Yeah, she put him down, and then he won't go lay down. He wants back up. So
he snores a lot, I bet, doesn't he? He's
Yes.
a champion snorer.
Yeah.
Look at that smile, man.
Oh, he's so adorable.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
There we go.
The cat lady has 2 dogs currently on her channel. Frida.
Oh yeah, that's right. We haven't seen your big cat yet.
He's over here sleeping. If I try and pick him up, I'll put my back out.
He's born is bigger than either one of these two.
Yeah, he's 30 pounds.
30
So-
pounds.
Wow. House tiger.
Yeah, he's big.
House Panther.
Link weighs about 24 pounds, I think.
Aw.
Yeah.
I guess looking at Link that he spends a lot of time asleep.
Yeah. He'll be 11 this year, so he spends
Aw.
a bit of time asleep.
Man.
But he still acts like a puppy a third of the day.
Mhm.
Just
I
a
was going to
puppy.
say just now. I was going to say that I'm having that I'm. Okay, I won't make. I was going to say it looks like he's having trouble staying awake, and then I was going to comment that being in a chat with Matt, I'm having the same problem.
Oh.
That would be mean, especially since there's anybody in this chat who is boring. It's me. It's not any of you.
We didn't come for bloodshed. What happened?
Yeah.
Right now, he's sleeping on camera.
Yeah, he'll do that.
Are you going to get down? Can I put you down? I'm putting him down.
Becky's actually allergic to him. She itches real bad when she holds him, but
When he gets excited, I break out into hives. It drives me insane.
Aw.
Yeah.
Frida's not sleeping. She's looking out at the street.
Yeah.
And she said, "You're wearing that? Walk a little faster. You're putting on some weight. What kind of a hat is that?" She just does that nonstop while
She's
she's looking
looking
out the
outside
window.
and being judgy.
She's an
What
old
is
lady.
that? What is that book right behind Becky's right ear? No, Becky.
Oh.
What is that book facing out right behind your ear? Do I spot a shapely male torso? What is that thing?
You probably spot a couple of cowboys. Maybe.
Yeah.
These books.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Oh, and it's the Anne Rice Vampire Chronicles.
They're Scots.
Yeah, they're
Mm.
mine.
I'm just saying.
Just saying.
This is. I know you've got a couple of Harlequin cases, don't you, Sarah?
Just a couple.
Yeah. this up here, all the way at the top, is all Regencies.
Oh, nice.
Right up there at the top. And here's where the Harlequins start. We got Harlequins
Nice.
here, right here, and then just a bunch of other stuff.
There's this weird stuff on the bottom. We're not sure what's all down there.
That mystery stuff.
No, the mysteries are all
I
in
used
there.
to have that.
Mhm.
I moved all around. I moved everything around here. So there was a blessed period, a whole 4 days, where the bookcases were in place all along every wall, and they were completely empty.
Oh,
No more mystery shelves. No more I can't find it. No more any of that. Just I put everything where they were, where they belong,
And you
and
about
have
sent
just
the
been
whole
reorganized.
book
I
to the
organized
Apple
yesterday
place.
and realized that my American president filled one bookcase exactly,
wow.
which is, I was glad to see that because it's so neat. It fits a nice, neat OCD pattern. But on the other hand, I was really upset because what happens if I get another one? There's bound to be another one this year that I want to keep. Then everything's ruined. Then who has to go at that point? I've been looking at catalogs going all the way to late summer, and it looks like it's going to be a really slight year for biography. Just really bad.
Really?
Almost nothing. Well, at least so far. The autumn is when it all happens, so that might change that. But
yeah,
so far, there's been almost nothing.
I wouldn't know what to do with all that space. A wall without a bookcase to us is wasted space.
Right?
Yeah.
We don't have much wasted space either.
Yeah, we don't.
No.
Bookcases everywhere.
I'm getting rid of these ones and the one over there, and I'm getting the IKEA ones, the Billy bookcases that everybody talks about, but the double ones, so like the 2, because I get my commission check at the end of March, and I'm literally just going to line the wall and just say, fudge it, line the entire wall and just go to town.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
the room, I have no more space. I'm putting books on top of books. I feel like I'm at Steve's house. Right now, I've got stuff on the floor.
I want someone to make amazing mass market paperback bookcases.
Yes.
Have no wasted space, that are just like,
Yes.
here, we are putting, and they're like only this wide.
Yes.
They
Oh,
only
we
come
would
off the
love
wall
that.
like that far. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
That or
I have
they're
told
either
Mark
that wide
that
and they're
he
actually
should
the
make a
size of
workshop
standard
in
cells,
his
but they
basement.
have 2 tiers. So you can stand them in front of each other. That would make me happy.
Mark ought to
Yep.
make custom bookcases for people. So you have an
Oh.
idea, and he will go into his basement and make them. He ought to do that. I've
There's
told
some
him you could have
books
the basement in his house. You should see it. It ought to be in a museum. There's a stone arch, old
Oh, yeah.
hearth, an oven
Oh.
built into the wall with one of those
That's
metal.
terrifying.
It's just amazing. It doesn't look like anything from the 20th, 19th, or 18th century.
That's
Like, this
It
is
awesome.
sounds like everything out of every horror book from the
Yeah.
Northeast I've
It
ever read.
does.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
There's
And
totally
it
realism in
would
that
have been
fireplace.
used in the same way as those horror novel basements if I had stayed any longer than I did. I would have been stashed away down there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I was a little suspicious when they were all showing it to me. Hey, come down here and look at the basement.
He's like, look,
Hold
have a
on,
drink
let
of
me
my
tell people I'm going down there.
Amontillado.
Carrying a shovel over the shoulder as they walk down the stairs.
Still, how I miss
You're doing a
traveling.
live stream as you're walking down the stairs. So
Yeah.
you're like, that's where you're at.
But the Americans in the stream should be happy that Congress finally did pass a $1 trillion COVID relief bill.
Yeah.
That just happened. So Americans will be getting $1,400 checks.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Haven't
it's
seen people complain all morning about it too, I swear.
Yeah. the
well,
people who
on one level, I can understand that, since it should have been $1,400 every month for the
Yeah.
last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Instead, it's $1,400. The people that I know that live, for instance, in Europe, I'm saying, yeah, that Congress just passed $1,400 relief checks, and they're saying, oh, that's great, that's fantastic. What happened to your last one from last month? And I say, no, this is the first one since last March. And they're like, what? Your whole economy cratered? You have 100 million people out of work, and your Congress hasn't given any money? Whose money do they think that is? That's your money. What on earth is happening here? So it looks for the first 2 minutes of the conversation, and then we go right back to looking the way we are.
I was off work for what, 7 months last year. I got $2,000 every month.
Wow.
Every 2 weeks, I got $1,000 check from the government. It wasn't taxed, so I now owe a lot of it back in taxes. But regardless, it helped at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if you're going to tax it, it still helps at the time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. No, nothing at all. No. We can't agree on the time of day.
Yeah. And the people that I've been seeing complaining about it, they're the ones that are saying they shouldn't be giving handouts. People should pull themselves up by their bootstraps. And I'm like, where are all these bootstraps coming from?
I can't afford bootstraps.
Where are all these bootstraps?
Nobody pulls themselves up by bootstraps.
Also, if you've checked a Land's End catalog lately, boots don't come with straps anymore. Nobody has any bootstraps. Well, I think about when I hear people say that, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I guess Mark's not in the chat anymore. There's a classic moment in classic Star Trek where McCoy is trying to put on a Nazi boot and he's having trouble with it, and Spock tells him exactly how to do it. Place equal pressure on both sides and push uniformly, and it works. And it never.
Well, he had to untie the Nazi to get his foot in.
What was that? He had to put on a leather boot, is what I'm saying. Never.
But if the laces were all in Nazis, how was he going to get his foot in? He'd have to untie him first.
There were no laces.
I'm joking, Steve.
Can a chat actually go to negative numbers of people watching? There's not only nobody in the chat, but they're telling other people to avoid the chat. It actually becomes negative.
They're all talking amongst themselves.
Yeah,
I know.
We're okay.
Can March Mystery Madness 2021 survive this live stream? I don't know if it can.
Yeah, Steve does need some time.
Fashion 1930s German
question. What about another mystery question? Can I ask another mystery question?
Ask away.
Classic thing that people say about murder mysteries is that they are so plot driven that knowing the ending means you're never going to reread that mystery. Tell me, do you reread murder mysteries? And I don't mean that you're foggy on the details so it feels like it's new again. I mean a murder mystery where you know the ending. Do you ever reread such a thing?
I have 2 murder mysteries I go back to a lot, and that's And Then There Were None and Murder in the Orient Express.
Yes,
I go back to those a lot because I think they're just masterpieces of the murder mystery genre.
Yeah.
Imagine Agatha Christie would be a foremost example of someone who's reread even though people know how it ends.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about anybody else? Is it
I've read Murders in the Rue Morgue quite a bit. That's fun.
I don't reread much, so I'll just sit over.
Well, I reread all the time.
Becky reads mostly romance and mystery, and doesn't reread a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I'll reread a mystery if it's a good representation of the genre, as long as it's like wildly entertaining.
Raymond Chandler,
I guess.
Raymond Chandler, I've read over and over.
Raymond Chandler.
Yeah.
And with someone like Chandler, you'd be rereading it because he's a prose stylist, right? In addition to just telling a story, he's a prose stylist, so you can learn more about the prose as you go along.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sarah, what about you? Do you need?
I reread And Then There Were None, but I read it in high school, and then I read it again in my 30s, and I had actually forgotten the whodunit, so that was kind of fun. But I have, and I'm currently rereading through the Cat Who mystery series by Lillian Jackson Braun, and I know how they end. They're little cozy mysteries, but they're fun. It's just entertaining. But it's the same with any genre. It'd be the same if you were rereading a romance or a sci-fi, or even though you know the ending. It's the
Yeah.
book and at the end of the day, right?
It is
Yeah,
well.
especially
Yeah, like
with
how many
cozy
times have you
mysteries.
watched the same Murder She Wrote episodes or Columbo episodes or Matlock or whatever?
I'm on my
So
sixth
many.
rewatching of Law and Order of the entire series.
Yeah, you lost me at all the others, but Law and Order, I could rewatch a million.
Oh yeah, I own the entire season
You
on.
don't watch Matlock, Steve?
No, I don't.
That's
Are you
pro
making
life.
some insinuation?
Steve.
Are you insinuating something about my extreme old age?
He's only 28.
No, I'm saying that you seem like someone who would appreciate the cut of Matlock's jib, sir. That's all I'm saying.
No.
No?
No, if you're talking about the series that we mentioned and you want to know the cut of somebody's jib that I like, then we'll be talking about Law and Order. And when we talk about Law and Order, we'll be talking about Paul Robinette.
Oh.
Yes, indeed. But those
I said jib.
Oh,
Jib.
sorry.
See,
I misheard you because I don't have my pants
someone's
on.
Jib. Yeah, it's okay. I understand. I know how it is when something accidentally covers the speakers. Yeah.
It leads to mistranslation. What it leads. But those early seasons of Law and Order, you couldn't do them on TV today. You couldn't do them, especially network TV. You have angry characters calling each other the N-word.
Yep.
You have whole dramas built around premature abortions or dead babies. Couldn't do that on TV today. No way.
No.
And none of it is false. None of it is cheap.
Mm-hmm.
It feels, those early seasons feel so much more adult than anything we get on normal network television today.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think the Law and Order, they're kind of like Law and Order and Murder She Wrote. They're the difference between straight up mystery and cozy mysteries.
Yeah, for police procedural and
Murder She Wrote is absolutely straight up a cozy mystery.
Yeah.
And Law and Order is
Law and Order. You get on one half you get a police procedural, and then on the other half you get a courtroom drama, sort of mushed together. Except for the one or two episodes that don't do that abandon that format, but there are only a couple of them that do that. So it
correct. Yeah. And I know my mom.
Mark Richardson is saying that Steve needs wine. Steve very much is hanging out with friends and sipping wine all night long. Steve very much misses that. I just can't. I'm a disgrace to the family name of Donahue because I just can't make myself drink alone. I just can't do it. It just feels wrong. It feels like I should have friends around when I do that. If I did, I'd be happy. I'm not on the screen though.
I don't like the taste of wine enough to drink by myself.
I love wine. I love some wine.
I'm not a wine drinker. Beer.
I like red wine and actually any whiskey from around the world. I'll try any of them. But red wine I think is the best tasting stuff anywhere.
I like girly drinks.
Good.
I only drink by myself or with people.
Late into the evening up in Vermont, with the conversation of the wine just flowing. I missed that. I missed that.
Oh.
Yeah, I
and
don't think there's
the weird
anything
effect
like
that wine has on Mark Richardson, which is when he starts out, when he's cold sober, and the conversation is going on, he'll say, Fred Stapleton, I think he won a Hugo Award. I don't really know. And then 2 bottles of wine later at 2 a.m, won it 1973, March. It was for this book. This is what he said about it. He gets sharper. It's glorious. It's very strange. So much fun, though. I look forward to it. Are we ever going to see it again? I mean, is the vaccine really going to help?
I'm
trying to figure out how that will work. How will that work? Let's say
I get my vaccine.
I have to try to be positive, try to remain positive about it, but I don't know. I'm just trying.
I mean, if I get vaccinated, what am I supposed to do with that? Is there somebody in Vermont I'm supposed to show that to?
Right.
I mean, nobody's checking at the border. So
Right.
is that just for the mind of
But
the
Deb
richest
will
and
be
famous?
checking at the door.
Yes.
Deb will be checking at the door.
Mind of their family and also my peace of mind.
Yeah.
Okay, fine for visiting a friend, but what about a workplace? Why are people saying that once the vaccines have rolled out, everybody will go back to work in their offices? How will
I
you
don't
know
think
that
that's
your
gonna
coworker is vaccinated?
Because it's not mandatory. It's if you want to. And
Yeah,
that's what
so
it is up here too.
I can't help but think that workplaces and schools and things like that have changed permanently. I don't
Yep.
see
I
a
hope
way
so.
that they will change back. How can they change back?
No.
Well,
How are you going to know that the kid next to you in the lecture hall has been vaccinated? Just because he
Yeah.
says so?
Well, if you've been vaccinated, what does it matter? If that kid wants to just like go die because he doesn't give a crap, and let him go die.
Okay, but how do we know that it doesn't matter? Even if I can't catch the vaccine from him, can I transmit it through him to somebody who hasn't been
Yeah,
vaccinated?
that's the question. Yeah.
How long do the vaccines last? So
I've heard
you know,
rumors that you have to get it done every year like a flu shot.
Oh, that's awful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that would
Yeah.
make sense though, because the
Yeah.
virus isn't going to go anywhere. It's now part of the human population. It's not going to go
Yeah.
anywhere. It's just going to be another disease we deal with.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, a lot of
Well-
I know you're talking about the offices and stuff. A lot of places now are saving tons of money in rent and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
all kinds
real.
of bills by letting people stay at home and work, because they were already providing the computers and whatnot and the phones and all that. And some of them, like the company that I was working for, they had everyone at their desk. Everyone had a phone, and now they just transferred everything to that person's cell phone, and it's just a lot cheaper. They're not paying heating bills. They're
Yeah,
not
that's
paying
Overhead or
That's
anything.
what I was saying. I think a lot of corporations are finding that it's cheaper having
Yep.
people
Yeah.
working from home. It's a
Yep.
lot cheaper.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
they'll keep doing
I
that
mentioned
because
that
obviously their bottom
on my
line.
channel. I mentioned that, you know, I read an article where people were saying, you know, my employer should reimburse me. And I thoughtlessly said on my channel, I said, well, why would that be? You already had Wi-Fi. You already had a desk. And actually, it was Mark Richards who emailed me and said, no. This is definitely the employers ripping off the employees because your data is capped, because your Wi-Fi costs money, because all this kinds of stuff that they're just not reimbursing you for. They're not caring at all. Just
Right.
that-
Yeah.
I hadn't
I got
even thought of it.
I got a letter with my, we call them T4s up here when you get your taxes at the end of the year to do your next taxes. And we got a letter stating that, yes, I was working from home from this date till this date. So that way, when I submit my taxes, I can actually put in to cover part of the internet, to cover part of this, and into the government as well to prove I was working from home. So I can get reimbursed or, you know, tax break, essentially.
Wow.
You're an entirely more civilized country than America.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes me want to sing "Oh Canada." Seriously.
You have a super hottie as your national
She's more
leader.
civilized, but
Except for
drinking
me, you know.
Starbucks and not Tim Hortons.
Well, you know. I know, right? I hate Tim Hortons. It's disgusting.
Oh no! You're
I
the
worked
first
there for 4
person I've
years.
ever. You're the first person I've ever heard from Canada to say that.
Yeah, I don't like Tim Hortons and I'm not a hockey person. So they're going to take away my,
But do you
Are
like
you sure
Richard
you're from
Marx?
Canada?
Richard. Oh my God, that's old.
Do you have
Richard
in Canada?
Marx? Good Lord.
I had to
Richard
think about that
Marx.
for a second.
I don't know how all the rest of us are going to apologize to Elizabeth. How are we going to do that? There's no way to apologize for this. Enough.
Well, hey, I'm
It was
reading
bad
Death in the
enough
Clouds right now,
when
and it's
we
awesome.
were talking about
So,
wood chipper. We're
there.
talking about Richard Marx. For Pete's sake.
I'm thinking a nice fruit basket.
Yeah.
Fruit basket. Yes. It'd probably be a good idea. Yes. Maybe a lifetime supply of fruit baskets. What about if I ask another mystery question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to present the thin facade that this is a March Mystery Madness. I have another mystery question for all of you, because I have an endless
How
number
did
of these.
Richard Marx get his hair like that?
About you as readers. Here's another mystery question for you. In a murder mystery, does it increase, decrease, or keep the same your enjoyment of the murder mystery if the victim of the crime had it coming? Does that change your appreciation of a book if the victim deserves to be dead? Or does it, I mean, does it increase, or does it feel a little easy, or do you not care?
I don't care. As long as if I'm invested in the person investigating, whether they're a detective or an amateur or whatever, if I'm invested in that character, then I don't care.
Yeah.
And
So it doesn't matter to you that if it's a heel who died, then everybody's a suspect. Or does that not matter?
Yeah, because everybody wanted them to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have, I think a lot of it is is the author good enough to let, I think there are some mysteries that the author is good enough to let you make up your own mind as to whether the person deserved it or not, whether the person had it coming or not. That takes a great author to let the to not be so biased, to let the person who is the detective, which is the reader, in a lot of cases, make up their own mind as to whether that person had it coming or not. But
and one thing I've noticed, especially around cozy mysteries, like the first 2 or 3 books of a cozy mystery, almost invariably the person who dies had it coming.
Absolutely.
Because they want their character to be the sympathetic character. They don't want this person who's died to be the sympathetic character. Now they won't really go into somebody who's more lovable, who's more approachable as the murder victim until 3 or 4 books in.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's because they think they can't get away with it or something. I don't know.
Or they're just trying to get their audience involved before they do what they want to do.
Could
Yeah. Yeah. Ow.
I knew a murder mystery author years and years ago who I had to ask him this question when we did get together for wine, and he had whiskey, and he had a lot of whiskey. Good Lord, writers, I tell you. But anyway, I asked him this question, and he said the reason it's so popular that the worst people die in cozy mysteries is because there's an element of cozy mysteries where the author is trying to create a perfect community, where you get rid of the people that you don't like, and if you can just do it enough, then it'll only be the good people that'll be left. So it's always the ruinous landlord or the gentrifying developer who gets it in the neck because they're bad for the community.
Yeah.
Now the one, well, I can't talk about that though. The one we just finished, the cozy we just finished.
Yeah.
I can't talk about that.
He did. The guy that died in that, he didn't really have it coming. I was actually kind of surprised.
Yeah, that's all we can say. But
a pretty good guy, everybody liked, that died. So it's a nice change. And I think when an author does sort of deviate from that, the first book, the murder victim has to have it coming. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a breath of fresh air. It's sort of what makes a new cozy especially interesting. Is they're doing something different.
Because with hard-boiled fiction,
mm-hmm.
for me, it's kind of a thing where the I don't duality of men, but like where everyone is kind of bad and everyone's kind of good. Like,
yeah,
no matter how bad someone is, like they loved their mom or something. Or no matter how good someone is, they used to be a prostitute or something like that. Like everybody has a little bit of something to make them not more realistic. I mean, I guess it is kind of
Sympathetic.
realistic, but it's just everyone has secrets, and I appreciate that more than like land where everyone's perfect and like that, I guess.
Yeah. That's
I think
one
the
of the
reason that it's such a popular device is if you have a really unpopular character die, then it's harder for the reader to immediately sniff out who the likely suspect is.
Yeah.
If everybody wants them dead, whereas if it's a totally virtuous person running a soup kitchen out of a historic house in downtown, and one of the suspects is a land developer who stands to make millions if he can convert that building, then if nobody else liked her and only one person stands to benefit, it's not hard to guess.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what makes it fun, because all of the sudden at the end of the book it was the sister who did it.
Yeah.
Well, like if you look at
if it reflects the evolution of the character, I mean of the author. Like I've noticed that as authors go on in their series, the victims tend to get worse as people. Where innocent people die at the beginning. Like for instance, Thomas Harris in all of his thrillers, in all of his police procedural thrillers. In Red Dragon, all of the victims are virtuous. They're all wonderful, sunny, happy, friendly families.
Yeah.
In Silence of the Lambs, only one victim is innocent, and in Hannibal, none of them are. In Hannibal, everybody who dies richly deserves to die.
So, do you think that's a sign of the era where a writer came from?
I don't know. I've only asked one author this question. Why is it that murder victims tend to get to be worse people as your series goes on? I asked that to one author years and years ago, and he said, "Never met fans at a murder convention, have you?" Oh my! That doesn't sound good. His publisher made him go to conventions, but he hated going because he just had nothing but contempt for his readers. Nothing but contempt for them. He said, "Yeah, it's a line of people, and I know there's only 3 kinds of people that it is. 90% of them are going to walk up to me and say, 'Where do you get your ideas from?' Another 7% are going to walk up and say, 'Your last book was boring,' and the other 3% are going to walk up and hand me their room key. And that's it. That's all it's going to be. I'm not going to get anything else."
Wow.
I always wanted to know.
It's like people lose all manners.
I always wanted to ask him, so if we change the percentages a bit, would you like this better? If the room key percentage were higher, would you maybe not be so bitter?
Those questions could all answer each other. Like, where do you get your ideas from? I go to conventions and people hand me their room keys. And then I go to the room and there's either something interesting in the room or something boring in the room. And that's why my last book is boring. Because the last convention I went to, we
don't have room keys. We don't have any of this now. Who's going to have a literary convention then?
Yeah.
Did you
pass
see
a key over a Skype call?
Did you see the pictures of what was it? The big literary convention that's happening now in New York, or that's about to happen. It happens in March every year. I'm drawing a complete blank on what it is. I want to say the MFA, but I don't think it's that. But the pictures look ridiculous. They look like everybody's going to be in a little tent. I don't see how you could do it. How can you have an event at the Javits Center in the middle of a pandemic? How can you do that? There's no precaution you can take. It's an airborne virus.
Right. Yeah, I have a mystery question myself, and it's about the cozies. But why do the cops deserve all the good people? Deserve all the good women in the books? It's always a cop. Always a cop.
It's strategic. It's strategic.
It's
women
the uniform.
Usually the amateur sleuths, so they have to have some sort of in with the police department.
Yeah, but all right, but there are good guys that paint houses too, and
but they don't have an in with the police department.
And is that crucial? have we seen in like the 21st century? Have we seen the disappearance of sleuths who don't have any connection with the police at all? We kind of now associate solving murder mysteries with the police, with the official structure of a police department. So even if you're not a police officer, you have to know one in order to get any.
Whereas in the old mysteries, like the Miss Marple mysteries, sometimes the police hated her.
Yeah, it's not like it at all.
Yeah.
There's one series I'm reading. It's a cozy mystery series. It's a paranormal cozy mystery series, actually. That the cop in the story is absolutely incompetent. He's a complete moron. Doesn't help her at all, which I think is wildly different to most cozies, but it does happen.
Right, but at some point in the murder mystery, don't you reach a point where whoever is investigating the crime has to have the legal authority to search a room?
Yeah.
Or make an arrest?
No.
Or compel a confession? At some point.
You just need to knock people over the head with stuff. Like, I mean, in cozies, I guess, yeah, but I mean, you got knitting needles. You guys could go.
Just fine with breaking and entering.
I just read a murder mystery called The Corpse That Walked, set on Nantucket. In the old days when Nantucket was really a kind of a different country. People could still go over by ferry and by private plane, but it wasn't anything like it is today. And the sleuth was an author of murder mysteries who the police consult. And I lost track of how many scenes he's talking to someone and saying, you really should tell me because I'm not going to be the only one who's going to ask you these questions. The police might ask you these questions. And time and again, the people he's talking to say, I guess you're right. I'd better tell you. Instead of saying, shut up, get out of my house and get a lawyer. It worked over and over again in the book when I don't think it would. I don't think it would work even once.
No.
And even
I think
Miss
that's
Marple.
the difference between British and American. Because in England, everyone's very polite. Even like the killers are very polite in their little cozy houses. And then you have people over here writing that same style, and you wouldn't have people doing that. People would be saying what you said, get the F out of my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, Becky will be right back.
Steve, I once knew a girl from Nantucket.
Somewhere out there, Elizabeth was watching the live stream. She heard me mention that a murder mystery was set on Nantucket, and she was saying, please don't let Matt say girl from Nantucket. Please don't let Matt say girl from Nantucket. And it didn't work. Can somebody get her another fruit basket? Somebody get her another fruit basket right away. Let's just send her one for every
cross her fingers better. Yeah.
She's putting a disclaimer. I am in no way affiliated with anything that is.
I disclaim all knowledge of March Mystery Madness. I disclaim all knowledge.
If we're all not back next year, we know why.
I'll send her my vaccination token as like a nice little.
You just take a time machine and jump forward to March Mystery Madness 2022. Where Elizabeth's saying, "I've got a great roster of hosts for you, all new." Nobody's coming back. They're all new. Look at all these new faces. Isn't it wonderful?
She's gonna say, "Welcome to March Mystery Madness. Madness. Madless. Yeah." Have a bit of a stroke there. No big deal. Okay.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But yeah, let me ask you guys this. Oh wait, you go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, March Mystery Madness this year has been really busy. There's been a lot of people involved just on the side, on the periphery, and just having a blast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm loving it. This is probably the most successful. Well, this is more successful than last year, even though I had a blast last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think there seems to be a lot more people involved this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's a lot of mystery reading happening right now.
Absolutely.
There sure is. We've been taking part in
Sprints are
sprints and all
awesome.
that.
I
I've
gotta
never done
start
sprints before.
sprints.
Yeah.
Well, there's also something to be said for an event that lasts a long time.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what
Yeah.
you can't do with a new event. An
Right.
older
Yep,
event
sorry.
just gathers people by momentum.
Yeah.
That's why
People
Sarah and I
before-
need to institute summer fling.
Coming back, 2021.
Yes.
We need a
Good.
massive romance-related
Oh
thing.
yes, we'll get Matt reading romances.
And I actually want to read a lot of gothic romances. Like,
Oh, I love a good
I
gothic.
used to have a bunch of those books, like with the chick running away from the house and it's all
Yeah.
stormy and stuff.
Standard, yeah.
And there was a flood a while back and all of them were lost in it. But
Oh,
I keep wanting to have a reason to go out and get a bunch of those again.
hmm.
So
I,
that would be awesome.
a couple of trips ago at Second and Charles, I found a great hardcover with the dust jacket, really nice looking, anthology of gothic romances from Victoria Holt and 4 other authors, and it looked really good. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. I remember my mom reading gothic romances when I was a kid, and I had never read one until just this last summer fling, and then it was a blast.
Hey, Steve, would you ever read audiobooks?
You can't read an audiobook, it's audio.
No, I know, but would you narrate the audiobook?
Who would I narrate an audiobook? Who would want to listen
Yeah.
to this voice?
I want to hear
On and
you
on.
do all the Bronte sisters stuff.
It was listening to this voice drone on and on that led to all 8 of my divorces from Deb. You want this to happen again?
You can't read an audiobook. Oh, classic. So my mystery question is, when you look at Sherlock Holmes and Poirot, what are the differences between the characters? And don't say short and tall and where they're from. Like, what do you see as what makes, because I think Poirot is so much more sympathetic than
Oh, I disagree.
Sherlock.
I disagree.
Do you?
Oh, yes.
I
The
just want
very
to give Poirot a hug every time I read a book of his.
The very first thing that came to mind when you asked what the key difference is, the very first thing I thought is that Sherlock Holmes is human and Poirot is not. Scrape away the mannerisms from Sherlock Holmes and you have a vibrant human being who cares too much. Scrape away the mannerisms from Poirot and you don't have anything left at all. He's all mannerisms. That'd be my answer.
I don't think so.
Holmes is infinitely more human than Poirot. Poirot he's just, for God's sake, Christie just wheels him on. You can practically hear the lorry underneath. He's so different, for instance, from Miss Marple, who is human. I'm not a big fan of the little Belgian and his little gray cell. I'm not a big fan of him at all.
I don't want to give Miss Marple a hug. You know, like I want to give Poirot a hug.
Yeah, I
think he's a sad little man.
Yeah, I just read Curtain last week, and I have to tell you, Poirot, he's sort of thinly veiled contempt under a very, very polite veneer. He treats his very best friend. What is his name?
I can't remember. I haven't read any Agatha Christie yet this month.
Bugger all. Okay, it's the guy who follows
the guy
him around.
from the first one. The guy from Styles.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
What is his name?
Like Colonel something, I can't remember. But
Sanders.
He treats him like Colonel Sanders. He treats him like crap in Curtain. Oh, he treats him awfully in Curtain.
Yeah, but he's all old and crotchety then. Sherlock's just like a robot.
No, he's not.
He's like a
no.
I feel like he's kind of Yeah, I feel he's kind of like he could watch people get run over by a car right in front of him, and if he was working on a arithmetic problem in his head at the time of that happening.
That's
Are
Poirot.
you serious?
That's
No,
Poirot.
Poirot would be going, oh no, you people are getting run over by a car.
I don't know what accent that was.
I don't know.
That was Mario.
I thought,
Oh, it's
when
a me.
I heard that accent,
that
my first thought was, can we do Brexit again? I always think of the great movie Murder by Death. You're probably
so
all
good.
Oh, you know Murder by Death.
Yeah.
I love the moment in Murder by Death where the character refers to the Poirot knockoff as the Frenchie, and he says, I'm not a Frenchie, I'm a Belgie. And of course, you can't show that movie today. You can't have it in reruns because of the mockery of Charlie Chan.
Yeah,
People would immediately say that is politically incorrect, so you can't do it. Because Peter Sellers plays Charlie Chan. Say your prepositions. That drives me crazy.
He's all, buns? You have buns? And he's like, no, monsieur, the buns on my body. Like,
I think what bothers me most about Poirot is different from Shakespeare, Sherlock. We were talking about Shakespeare yesterday. I'm very confused. But I think that the difference for me is that, as a general rule, Poirot seems to know exactly who did it from the very get-go. And he wants to lead the people around him on to get to where he's at. And it was, thank you, Marilyn Hutchins, and Taking Tea with Catherine. It was Hastings.
He's a walking, talking authorial plot device. He doesn't seem
in the book. I've read 2 Poirot books, this March Mystery Madness, and in both of them, he didn't know exactly what had happened until the very end, and he did some things that were like kind of sweet to help people out and stuff like that. So
clearly, I need to read for March Mystery Madness. Clearly, I need to go back to
well, I'm doing a group read of Death in the Clouds right now. Wink, wink.
Starting today.
Yeah, it starts today.
Nobody will involve me in a group read because I smell.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
I'm really
by the
bad
time
with group
it takes
reads.
us to decide how long we're going to do it, you've read the book.
I have said many times that for the honor of being involved in a group read, I would be happy to slow down to the baseball bat to the head speed that the rest of you use. I'd be happy to do that. For the privilege of being invited along, I would be happy to do that. But no, because I.
Well, Steve, if you just put your pants on when we're reading, the smells wouldn't be. Well, we'll just drop it.
It's entirely up to you. I can put my pants back on, but then the feedback is going to come back. Do you want that?
Okay, Steve, leave your pants off. All right. And that was the last thing Lizzie Faye.
Yes, that was it. She got all the way to leave your pants off, and that was it.
This is the last March ever. All right.
Yep.
This is our first March Mystery Madness, Matt. Don't ruin it for us.
The minute she sees this live stream, none of us are coming
taking back. All of you down with me.
Yes.
No one is getting out of March Mystery Madness alive. So that's just how this is going to go right now.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm starting to rethink signing up for this live.
Oh,
now? Just now, an hour and 18 minutes in?
You watched all of our channels. You knew what you were getting into.
Come on.
But I have to take the bean out for a walk. So I have to sign out of this little coffee clutch.
Yeah,
all right.
I think we should probably quit while we're ahead.
Pretty much.
That would have been the
Yeah,
first 5.
I got to work on that. I'm really sorry card. For
Yeah.
And the fruit
Elizabeth
basket.
right
Don't
now.
forget the fruit basket.
Yeah.
We have to
I'm gonna
figure
do
out
one of
some
those
way to break
edible
it.
arrangements.
We had a live
I'm gonna do an
stream.
edible arrangement, and I'm gonna say, "Can you make this look like Steve with no pants on, sitting on his couch? Here's a
Would that
banana,
be
a couple
crocuses or
grapes."
hello?
No, just make it look like Frida. I think it will be accepted better.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
All right.
We just
Well,
have to
thank you all
preface
so
it,
much for
that's all.
joining.
We have to
Hey,
when we
thanks
bring it up to
for
Elizabeth, we
having
have to
us.
say, we had a live stream. Now, before you watch, like the repentant teenager, we have to say, now, there was a live stream, but before you watch, I can explain everything.
Yeah, give her
I'll
a
go
very
back and
big
edit.
glass of
I'll go
wine.
back and edit a parental advisory at the beginning.
There you go.
Or you could go back and edit this, and it'll be like 4.5 minutes.
Yes, that's what it's called.
She'll go, "This was the shortest live stream I've ever seen. This is awful.
Everybody
We
was
can't
real
have
busy.
this." Oh my goodness.
Well, I would say let's do this all again sometime. I'm worried about Elizabeth. We'll give it a
Yeah,
try.
we'll have to
We'll
come
do
up
it
with a
after
new
March
hashtag.
Mystery Madness. We'll just come on and chat.
Yeah.
Well,
But I do have to know the bean is sort of kicking me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. I mean, she could wait all
All
night.
right, guys.
My answer is yes, so I'm gonna go. I will
Sounds
see
good.
you all later.
Take care,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.